The Atlanta Hawks, officially the hottest team in the NBA, are on an 8-game tear after their win over the Brooklyn Nets. Following the trade deadline, the recent acquisition of Jonathan Kuminga continues to pay dividends.
Whenever Kuminga was out and missed those 3 games, he was coaching up his teammates, he was active in huddles, even telling Coach Snyder what he was seeing from his perspective on the bench. Guys, I don't think that it can be overstated the impact Kuminga has had on this team.
While the overall trend has been positive for the Hawks, things haven't gone quite as well for JK, who finally returned to the lineup after missing 3 games. This seemed to be a bit confusing for some as he had just returned from injury. So why is he out already? The reason for him being listed as out was due to inflammation for the first game, which then switched to a bone bruise for the next 2. Both issues are related, as the bone bruise was what he was out for immediately following the All-Star break, and the inflammation came as a result of him playing on it. His first game back was not nearly as electric as his first 3 for the Hawks, and the team as a whole, despite beating the Brooklyn Nets, seemed out of rhythm. That might have been because they were missing a key player, Dyson Daniels, who was ruled out due to a left toe sprain. Daniels, despite his lack of shooting, is pretty valuable to this team. He's actually the first player in NBA history with 80 points, 50 rebounds, 50 assists, and less than 5 turnovers in a 7-game span. So the team was obviously missing its main ball handler. A lot of the Hawks' issues point to the team missing just what he does, especially on the defensive side, hence the struggle with Brooklyn for most of the game. The injury itself doesn't seem serious, so I don't expect Daniels to be out too long. I expected Jonathan Kuminga would pick up the slack against Brooklyn, but that didn't really happen. So why the brutal fall off for Jonathan Kuminga, who only managed to put up 2 points in his return? Check ball. After a 3-game splash that saw Jonathan Kuminga leave Hawks fans chanting, "Thank you Warriors," his most recent game against the Nets might be leaving a few fans puzzled. 2 points in 19 minutes hardly seems like the same player that debuted for the Hawks just a couple of weeks ago. What happened? The first thing we notice is that despite Dyson Daniels being out, Jonathan Kuminga didn't start. This tells us one thing. His recent return from injury likely has him on a minutes restriction. It's much easier to restrict a player's minutes when you have him come off the bench. Whereas he came in at the 6-minute mark of the first quarter in his debut, he came in with just over 3 minutes remaining against the Nets. This is an indication that the Hawks are going easy and not just throwing him back out there to go full tilt fresh off an injury. You might say they did this in his debut, however, that is exactly why they're taking this cautious approach. This is a likely result of the medical staff re-evaluating their approach to avoid another 3-game stretch of great performance, only to have him sit out further games due to another flare-up of this injury. But what actually happened when he was on the court? For the entire game, Jonathan Kuminga only attempted 4 field goals, going 0 for 4 and scoring only 2 points. He had 2 assists, 9 rebounds, 3 of which were offensive boards, which matched the game high that was also tied by 3 of his teammates, all who played 30 or more minutes. He also had 2 turnovers and finished with a -11 net rating. There was no burst of scoring, not a whole lot of athletic display, looking pretty planted for the most part on offense, although defensively he seemed to be about the same as usual. So let's look at each of his 4 field goal attempts and see what happened. For his first shot attempt, he recovered an errant throw by Gabe Vincent. He opted to take his man off the dribble, drives left, stops to get his man up in the air, goes up to draw the contact, and misses the shot. But there's a lot more that happened on that play. When he stopped, Alexander Walker was wide open for a catch-and-shoot 3. The trajectory here for a pass to Reza Shea wasn't quite open, but there was definitely plenty of room to fire one off to Walker. He didn't, however, and here's a possible reason why. If you notice, this shot came in the 3rd quarter. At this point, JK had no field goal attempts. His 2 appearances in the first half mostly consisted of him playing a supportive role, finding his teammates and grabbing rebounds. He had what would have been an attempt from almost behind the basket had he not been fouled, but otherwise, he was mainly actively doing what he could, making passes and trying to facilitate. A lot of these ended up being misses as Jock Landale couldn't find the basket. So in order to fuel his offense, he goes up for the shot and he clearly gets fouled. Only the ref didn't call it. It counts as a missed shot and life goes on. Kuminga's second attempt didn't come until the 4th quarter. Initially, he tries to drive, but cut off from the basket, he instead motions for Mo to switch to take the other defender in the post. Ideally, Mo draws his defender up top, giving JK enough room to take the man to the basket. JK makes a drive to the basket, and this is where the refs missed the call. This step by the defender as JK makes a direct line drive to the basket should be considered a blocking foul due to the timing. I'll give the refs a pass because of how close it was. However, when it's close, you make the call because a no call can't be challenged. Perhaps the refs were trying to preserve their stats. This left JK with no room to finish, and he gets his shot blocked by Josh Minot as he went up. Either way, Kuminga's third shot came just a couple of minutes later. He tried to penetrate with a drive and ran into another blocking foul as the defender jumped laterally to cut him off. He didn't flop on the play and there was no call, but that's JK's biggest issue on the drive. Some fouls are just much more obvious than others. He eventually rises up to take the shot and he does indeed get fouled with a tap on the shooting elbow, but that doesn't get called as it's difficult to see in real time. He did have a better opportunity, however, although that would have been taking a page out of SGA's book. As he spins and just before he goes up for the shot, the defender's arm is outstretched, and had JK quickly swung the ball up to take the shot, he would have gone to the free throw line. Alas, he didn't, and despite being tap fouled on the actual shot, the refs missed it and it went down as a missed attempt. His final shot of the night, he again drives to the hole, but gets bumped off by the defender. That was the first foul. But there were some indications the refs were letting them play a physical game despite the overall number of fouls called. So even if you let that slide, JK goes in for the step through. The defender doesn't establish a position before the drive and again fouls Kuminga as he goes up for the shot. The obvious contact kept him from getting any verticality on the jump. Meanwhile, the defender failed to maintain any verticality from his original position. This gave his teammate an easy block, which goes down as another missed opportunity for JK. This is why players like SGA or Jimmy Butler, players that thrive on contact and getting to the line, made it a point to focus on being able to highlight when they're getting fouled and take advantage of fouling opportunities presented by the defense.
Made him in the foul. Once he gets that hand in there, you think of James Harden.
The fact is, a primary driver is going to get fouled multiple times on any given drive, so they might as well take the opportunity. It forces defenders to play fair as per the current rules. If JK works on that aspect of his game, it could change the game for him entirely. A lot of his game is predicated around getting to the basket as well as attempting to get to the line. While some refs blow the whistle when he draws attention vocally,
Is that a 13-0 run?
he might be better served taking what the defense gives him by adding a bit of Jimmy Butler's flair to his game. Despite this, he was still engaged defensively, contesting shots and making an impact on that end, even when the shots fall. You can't do much better than a solid contest on an outside shot from a player, Josh Minot, who's 33% from deep on the season and 1 of 5 in his last game. While his on and off ratings were abysmal, much of it came as a result of the no calls on his attempts. His 9 rebounds in 19 minutes were extraordinary, and on any other night where he's not on a minutes restriction and has his offensive game going, he's easily getting a double-double. His style of play and the role he'll be playing moving forward could actually see him in triple-double category, but let's wait and see if he can maintain health up to the end of the regular season. As a matter of fact, when he came back after injury a couple of years ago, this slow return from injury was the Warriors' approach, which had me concerned that he was no longer the aggressive athlete we knew. It took him about 10 to 15 games before he finally unleashed, up until he was DNP'd and then fell to a completely new injury. So this isn't all that concerning. The Hawks' initial approach, where he clearly went no holds barred in his first few games, more than likely led to the inflammation and thus the cautious approach the second time around. He was more than likely advised to go easy, just play at game speed to see how he feels and try to stay healthy until he gets his legs fully under him. They already know he can score, so there wasn't any reason to get in his bag just yet. For all intents and purposes, this was just a test run. Let me know what you think of Jonathan Kuminga's performance in his first game back. Post your thoughts in the comments below, and thanks for watching. Till next time, swish.